Miss Kraft is Daft, Chapter 11, The Most Amazing Trick Ever. When we got back to class after recess, there was a long wooden box in front of the room. It looked like the kind of box that they used to bury people in. "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen," Miss Kraft announced. "Are you ready to witness my most amazing trick ever?" "Yeah," everybody shouted. "No," I said. "What's the matter, AJ?" asked Miss Kraft. "I thought you liked magic tricks." "If Mr. Klutz catches me doing one more bad thing, he's going to hang me," I told her. "I don't want to be involved in any more tricks." "Don't worry about Mr. Klutz," Miss Kraft told me. "I know how to take care of him." "So what's your most amazing trick ever, Miss Kraft?" asked Neil the Noon Kid. "I'm going to saw one of you in half," she announced. "Cool," we all shouted. Sawing people in half is cool. "Where did you get that big box?" asked Ryan. "At a big box store," said Miss Kraft. "Okay, which one of you wants to get sawed in half?" "Me, me, me," we all shouted. "Not me," said Little Miss Perfect. "I don't like violence." "What do you have against violins?" I asked her. "Not violins, Arlo," Andrea said, rolling her eyes. "Violence." I knew that violence and violence were two different things. I was just yanking Andrea's chain. "Okay," said Miss Kraft as she opened the lid of the big box. "The student who gets to be sawed in half will be Andrea." "Yay!" shouted everybody, except Andrea. "Please come up to the front of the room, Andrea, and climb in the big box." Andrea looked really mad. She was the only one who didn't want to get sawed in half, and now she was going to be sawed in half. Ha! Nana Boo Boo on her. At first I thought she would refuse to do it, but Andrea always does anything grown-ups tell her to do. So she went up to the front of the room and climbed into the big box. There was a hole at one end for her head to poke through. "Are you comfy?" Miss Kraft asked Andrea. "I want to make sure you're comfortable before I saw you in half." "Yes," Andrea said, but she sounded like she didn't mean it. She looked like she might cry. Miss Kraft went to the closet and took out a saw. It was gigantic. "Eek!" Andrea screamed as she looked at the saw. "Don't worry," Miss Kraft assured Andrea. "It won't hurt a bit." "I'm scared," said Emily, the big crybaby. Miss Kraft started sawing the box. Sawdust was flying everywhere. Andrea closed her eyes. The saw dug into the box. You should have been there. "I am the great Kraftini," shouted Miss Kraft as she pushed and pulled the saw back and forth. "Help!" Andrea shouted. "Stop!" "We've got to do something," Emily shouted, and then she went running out of the room. "Whew, this is hard work," Miss Kraft said after a few minutes of sawing. She wiped her face with a tissue, and then she wiped Andrea's face with a tissue. "Can we stop now?" Andrea begged. "Stop," said Miss Kraft. "I'm only halfway done. You know what they say, if you start a job, you should always finish it." Miss Kraft went back and forth sawing for a few minutes and then stopped again. "I'm tired," she said. "Who wants to take over?" "Me, me, me," shouted everybody. "AJ should take over," Neil said. "He hates Andrea more than anybody." It was true. Nobody hates Andrea more than I do. Sawing her in half would be the greatest moment of my life. But I knew what would happen. I'd start sawing Andrea in half, and then Mr. Klutz would walk in and suspend me. Everybody started chanting, "AJ, AJ, AJ." "Would you like to finish sawing Andrea in half, AJ?" asked Miss Kraft. I really wanted to saw Andrea in half, but at the same time, I really didn't want to get in trouble again. I was faced with the hardest decision of my life. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was concentrating so hard that my brain hurt. "AJ," said Ryan, "if you don't want to saw Andrea in half, that must mean you're in love with her." "What?" "That's right," said Michael. "AJ, you can prove once and for all that you're not secretly in love with Andrea by sawing her in half." "Let me out of here," Andrea shouted. "I don't want anyone to saw me in half." "Okay," I finally agreed. "I'll do it." "Yay," shouted everybody, except for Andrea. I went up to the front of the class, and Miss Kraft handed me the saw. "Are you sure it's going to be okay?" I asked her. "Sure, I'm sure," she replied. "Go ahead. I've done this trick 1,000,000 times. Nothing can go wrong." I started sawing the box. "Help, help," shouted Andrea. "Don't do it. Stop, Arlo." The sawdust was flying, and Andrea was screaming, and everyone was hooting and hollering. This was the greatest day of my life. "Ooh," Ryan said. "AJ is sawing Andrea in half. They must be in love." "When are you going to get married?" asked Michael. "If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them." "Help! No, stop!" Andrea shouted. I was almost finished sawing through the box, and you'll never believe in 1,000,000 years who walked into the room at that moment. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. But you have to read the next chapter, so Nana Boo Boo on you.